Good afternoon, councillors and everyone. Welcome to the 856 Transport and Infrastructure Committee meeting. We don't have any visitors today, but we do have one apologies with Councillor Hammel, who's got an engagement with the DP. So I'm going to move an apology. Second to Councillor Young. All in favour? Carry. I was very quiet. Absence of leave, nil. Confirmation of the 850-minute Transport and Infrastructure Committee meeting held on the 6th of May 2025. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Tozer, second to Councillor Gates. All in favour. Carry. Is there any changes that anyone makes to make? No. Perfect. We currently got no conflict of interest. No, nil. We currently got 3-starred items, 5.1, 6.1, 6.2. I'm going to unstar 5.1 just for a quick question, but is anyone 6.1 will unstar? So we've only got 1-star item, 6.2, so we may as well get a mover on that. Councillor Young, second to Councillor Tozer, all in favour, carry. We'll come back to 5.1. The only question I've got is in relation to forward planning. I've noticed in September we've got the Central Gold Coast East-West Public Transport Corridors report coming. And I know we've obviously talking about light rail stage 4 as well, so obviously they're both important parts of transport. Have we, I know that TMR was the driver of the light rail stage 4, but the Deputy Premier's office, I believe, is handling the review. Has our officers had any conversation with the DP's office or any of their team?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the question. So I guess there's been fairly limited engagement so far from the review team. We did have a meeting where the Deputy Premier's team and my leads for about an hour on Teams, pretty high-level conversation, but didn't really get into specifics and technical aspects on options or issues. The city did make a submission as part of the general review process, but yeah, at this stage there's been probably not a lot of detail in terms of what we provided at that technical level, and certainly no options assessment discussions.
Okay, so I know that we've got a lot of investment, obviously, in public transport for, we know, the light rail, and obviously we've got a big interest in the east-west. So is it possible maybe you can maybe come back to us and see if there's any more communication we can have with the DP and bring a report back to where that is looking moving forward? Obviously, we know we're going through the stage 1 consultation at the moment, and my understanding it's part of a broader consultation. But I think it's important that we're dealing directly with the appropriate department at the moment. So don't know if you want to take that on notice.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been advised through the officers that the assessment report on the review of light rail will be finished mid this year. So I'm assuming 30 June or they're close, so it should be imminent. So we could probably bring a report back with the outcomes, say the August round. That should work.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
So I can take that. Thank you. Do we have any more questions in relation to 5.1? So I'll move at 5.1. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Young, all in favour? Carry. 6.1 petition, stop sign at crossing of Martin and Ferry Street, Nerang. So, Councillor Young, you'd like to move it, Councillor Young? I'm happy to.
I just wanted the opportunity to speak to this briefly.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for the work of the officers. This petition was only submitted on 18th of March. There's been a really thorough review of the situation. To install stop signs as requested by the petitioners would be non-compliant with Australian standards, so there's been a determination to keep the giveaway but to improve the signage and so forth. I just wanted to ask if we can get some idea when those works might be undertaken, please.
I'll just let Renee take that question.
Thank you. The question is just, do you know when those works?
We'll wait to Renee to get to the.
Thanks, Renee.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Chairman. So the recommendation is that signage and line marking improvements will be made at the Ferry Street and Mount Street intersection. I'm just wondering, do you know when that might happen, please?
Yes, through the chair, we're aiming to have them installed by August.
Okay. Thank you very much. Not so quick with the delivery there, EGM, but a good turnaround on the petition. I'm grateful for that, and to the officers for the report and the investigations they undertook. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Anyone want to? Okay, we'll put the motion to the floor. All in favour? Carry. Thank you. 6.3, we have a presentation. Michael, you might want to talk about the project, Greenheart, which is a great initiative of the city, and stage one.
Thank you, Chair. I've just got Cass and Ross making their way in, but obviously the completion of stage one of Greenheart being the Robina Parklands, recent opening, a really successful project, and Cass is going to take us through a brief presentation that sort of highlights some of the great design outcomes, but also some of the excellent feedback from the community through the project. So I'll pass over to Cass.
Thanks, Michael. So good afternoon, Committee Chair and Councillors. This afternoon I'll be providing you with a short presentation on Greenheart Robina Parklands project. But before I start, I'd just like to point out that additional slides have been added to the end of the presentation from page 59 of the agenda report, and they're just about the future stages of Greenheart. So the overall content and intent of the presentation has not changed. There's some new photography throughout the presentation as well. So the Greenheart project was born out of the necessity to provide much needed open space and recreation facilities for our growing population in the central suburbs of our city. The project has been long in the planning. Land was secured over 15 years ago with the vision of creating a major open space destination for the community. And just about 6 weeks ago, the first stage of Greenheart was completed and gates were opened to the community. The new Greenheart Robina Parklands have been extremely popular ever since then, with hundreds of visitors on weekends and during the week, which is a fantastic result. The Learn to Ride pedal park and the water play area and also the play towers are the most popular attractions. And the following slides showcase some of the other facilities and initiatives that we have delivered as part of the project. This being the inclusion of a coffee cart, which has been a big winner on showing excellent patronage, especially on sunny weekend days. And this arrangement will be reviewed in the coming months with a view to appointing a permanent cafe in that building. The sports fields, now with state-of-the-art lighting, are able to host sports training every day and night of the week. And the community now have on-site car parking and amenities to use whilst training on the fields, increasing that training opportunity in the central suburbs for many sports clubs. The ability to host events and social gatherings was an important outcome for this project, and we've been able to create 4 designated areas that are available for social gatherings and community events through our park bookings system. The park provides excellent facilities for people with compromised mobility and those that require additional support. During the design phase, we went to great lengths to create an inclusive space with minimal level changes. And as you can see in the top image, this intention has been realised on the ground with a level compliant path network that provides access to all park facilities without any detours. Other facilities include an accessible bathroom, the barbecues that you can see in the bottom image, and car parking spaces. The Changing Places facility, which is pictured here, provides a dignified changing and shower room for all park visitors. The design of the playground was based on targeted consultation with families of children that require additional physical, social and emotional support. Based on the feedback we received, we included many inclusive pieces of play equipment, such as raised water play tables, accessible swings, activity panels, an accessible roller slide, which is pictured there next to the bright orange slides, a carousel and communication boards. Feedback also included the desire to have a large fenced area where children could have a quiet and safe space to rest from the activity of all that play equipment and take a break from any potential sensory overloads. So we made the deliberate decision to create a fenced playground here. This means that all the playground equipment, the shelters, the barbecues, and a generous lawn area are all contained in one safe, engaging, and spacious area. In addition, and following that line of accessibility, and a first for our Parkland estate, is the creation of a combined video and audio description of the Parklands that will be accessible from our Park Finder page. This will enable people to watch a transcribed video with maps and images of the entire park to help them plan for their visit and learn what they can do when they get here. And these are just some screenshots of that video. It goes for 12 minutes, and I was not going to show that today. The video also provides information about all the accessible features and car parking spaces, as well as distance of travel for some of the facilities. Another key feature of Greenheart is the artwork Breathing Place, which was created by local Indigenous artist Lisa Sorreby Martin. And the artwork includes 16 lily stems that make for a really engaging and beautiful addition to the landscape. And sandblasted stenciling in the pavement that includes local Indigenous Yugambeh language. A short video of how the artwork was created is also available on our Park Finder page. So with so many recreation facilities, there really is something for everyone to enjoy. The images on the previous slides and this one demonstrate how much the Gold Coast love destination parks like Greenheart, and the decision to purchase land for Greenheart 15 years ago was the right one. Looking back over the life of the project just for a moment, construction commenced in August 2023, and the site looked like this for about 6 months. We faced some significant challenges during the construction period, including a significant amount of rain and a cyclone. This photograph was taken after the peak of the cyclone, around 2 days after the peak of the cyclone. And here the floodwaters were at their highest. You can see the buildings and the playground, essentially the orange and yellow parts of that photograph, but they're protected. And this was the design intent, to place the higher investment items in protected areas. This photograph was taken 4 days after the cyclone. There was no damage to the site, and the main focus of the cleanup was hosing down of paths and furniture. And as you can see, councillors, the floodwaters have receded with limited standing water on the site after just 4 days. And 1 week after the cyclone, the site has completely bounced back. The same approach to flood resilience in terms of protecting infrastructure will be applied to the future stages of Greenheart, located on the other side of Mudgeeraba Creek. As a result of the construction contract, we achieved amazing local benefits for the Gold Coast, with 70% of the $25 million contract being delivered by businesses based on the Gold Coast. The project provided a boost to local employment with 62,000 hours of local employment and 5,000 hours of apprentice labour. As part of the project's local benefit strategy, we provided an opportunity for local students from Robina High School and Currumbin Trade College to attend the site and hear from our contractors firsthand about their safety measures, construction methods, and site challenges. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, with students really enjoying being on a real construction site. On the 3rd of May, we held a community celebration day for the local community. Thousands of visitors came along to enjoy the many free activities and entertainment, including plenty of food trucks and places to throw out a picnic rug. The community event was supported by several council activations, including Naturally GC and Active Travel, a Welcome to Country performed by a young dance and music group, the Free Trees program, Councillor Doran, and active and healthy programs that will continue as we move into the normal day-to-day activation of the park. So, councillors, I'm sure you will agree that the completion of Stage 1 is a huge milestone for our city, but there is still much work to do to continue to deliver the next stages of Greenheart. So throughout the Stage 1 construction period, we were focused on community engagement and planning for the next phase of design for the future stages of Greenheart on the northern side of Mudgeeraba Creek. We provided a site visit in June last year where we were able to drive through the site, talk through the master plan, and gain an appreciation of the size and scale of the site. The site took place as part of the Gold Coast Have Your Say campaign, with social media posts by councillors and the city inviting the community to participate in the survey. And as a result of that survey, we can be sure of how much the community support the Greenheart project. Close to 3,600 surveys were completed, with nearly 20,000 visitors to the Greenheart Have Your Say webpage during that engagement period. The results of the survey demonstrate overwhelmingly strong support for the development of the future stages of Greenheart. We asked two key questions as part of the survey. Firstly, do you agree with providing a new regional parkland for the Gold Coast? 95% of participants answered yes. And secondly, do you agree that developing the Greenheart site into parkland is a good use of council-owned land located in a floodplain? And 88% of participants agreed with that statement. Concept design of the future stages will commence this year. This will be for the entire site and will enable us to continue to undertake site investigations and better understand the site and firm up exactly what will be delivered in Stage 2. Environmental approval applications are in preparation for submission in the coming months, and targeted stakeholder engagement will need to be undertaken and is being planned for this year. This will ensure the legacy project will meet the city's strategic objectives and the community's expectations. And in coming to conclusion of the presentation, we would just like to share with you a short Greenheart Robina Parklands project video.
Greenheart Stage 1 officially open.
Thank you. That concludes our presentation for today.
Thank you, Cassandra. Questions, Councillor Tozer?
So awesome presentation and awesome work. Cassandra, it's been awesome to see this kind of evolve into what it's become, and I appreciate you've been there from right at the beginning as well. It's not something you've just kind of taken on. You started with the conception of it back in a long time ago. My question actually relates to the environmental approvals for the next stage. When you say environmental approvals, what do you mean, and what's that process look like?
Through the Chair, we have a very distinct environmental approval that needs to happen with EPBC, Environmental Protection.
So the federal legislation?
That's correct.
Right, okay. So what are the elements of the plan that make the EPBC referral a good idea or necessary?
Through the chair, we have some significant plant and animal species on the site
Okay.
through our ecological surveys and investigations that we've done, so that the evidence of those species then triggers the need for the applications.
Yeah, and then we refer those. Is there a referral that relates to water, or is water not really part of that referral?
Through the chair, water and the creek and the surrounding up and downstream, that will be considered as part of that approval. Okay. We also have the local government infrastructure designation approval process that we will go through as well. Yeah. And those matters will be reported on and highlighted as part of that application.
Yeah, so the local government infrastructure designation is, just for people who are watching, it's like a development application that local governments use in order to see an outcome on a particular site that is in line with the city plan. And just so I'm clear on that as well, this site is planned for community purpose, isn't it?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so whilst we're putting what is effectively a local government development application through the LGID process, we're not actually proposing to deviate from what we're planning on the site at all. We're just kind of using that mechanism in order to get the approvals we need to get things, moving.
Through the chair, yes, that is correct.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Councillor Gates.
Thank you. Just noting that the Divisional Councillor is not here. Will you be able to include the additional slides in the minutes so that he's aware that they were presented? Thank
Through
you.
the chair, yes, Chamber Support already highlighted the need to do that.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Obviously, we had the cyclone and we can see how it recovered really well, but was there any takings out of the development that's been stage one that's been completed and the flood overlay? Like, did it work to how we predicted, and is there any additional challenges moving forward, or it's resolved what we thought?
Yeah, through the chair. So we've got a really good understanding of the flood modelling on the broader Greenheart site. I guess one of the main learnings was our understanding of stage one was verified. So we had an assumption that certain treatments and stormwater works would do its job, and what it proved is that the strategy that we have going forward is one that's sound, and that we've got confidence that we can, as Cass pointed out, locate infrastructure in places where we know are of greater cost and resilient, but we can also locate and shape up the site so that it is resilient and bounces back really quickly. The point is we want to ensure that it is a constrained site. We need to retain that flood immunity, that flood storage. But what we want to make sure is that the fields bounce back really quickly, so that, yes, we might have it flooded one weekend, but the next weekend it starts drying out and we can start playing back on the fields as well. So there's a lot of our sports parks that are designed that way, but this is just a bigger site.
And as we can see, it actually did come back really quickly, which was great to see. Do we have any more questions? Do we have a move for the presentations? Councillor Gates, seconded Councillor Tozer. Would you want to speak to it at all? Councillor Gates?
Well, thank you, Chairman. Only to say that I went along for the launch. As we can see, I rode the merry-go-round or whatever it was. But it's absolutely spectacular. And I just want to say how pleasing it was to be there and to be a part of that, which was unexpected as well. But on the day, the Mayor suggested that some of us had been along this journey for a very long time now, and that it was important for us to see the results. And to be honest, it was over and above my expectations, and just a really wonderful project to deliver to that community. And it will also be a destination park from people in other locations. So look forward to the next stages. Thank you.
Anyone want to speak for it? Would like to close? All in favour? Carry. Well done. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Ross. Well done, team. It's a great project. we've got no closed session reports, so we've got general business. Councillor Gates, you have a general business item?
Thank you, Chairman, for accepting this as a late item. During the budget discussions, I actually raised a query and the officers suggested that I bring it along to a transport and infrastructure meeting, and it was regarding the potential to expand the council cab service. I had a couple of requests over recent years for Willowvale, haven't been flooded with inquiry, but I thought it might be beneficial to just find out the costs and benefits of expansion if possible, noting that there was actually a reduction in this year's budget to simply meet the needs of the current contracted area. So I would be grateful if I could have support just to find out whether there is the potential for expansion.
I'm happy to second it. Councillor Taylor. Anyone want to speak against the motion? Councillor Tozer.
I would just like to ask some questions about whether we could expand the idea to reviewing other parts of the city. Councillor Young and I talked before, so I don't want to speak against it. I just
take it. So,
I think I'm very supportive of Willowvale, but I'm just not supportive of Willowvale exclusively. I think it would be good for the program. I think Councillor Gates has highlighted something that's really quite important, and it would make sense for us to take a more broad look at whether we can or need to expand it to other areas as well. But it's a motion on the floor.
Perhaps your motion.
I'm happy to for the officers to make a recommendation for areas that might be considered appropriate, for sure. Other areas of the city.
Councillor Young.
Chairman, I was going to ask to add these words and any other areas recommended by officers. So we're just not directing them. It gives them the open book to identify things that might be appropriate and recommend it back to us. If Councillor Gates will accept that as part of her motion, I'm happy.
No drama.
Thank you.
Sorry, you don't want to speak against it now?
Sorry, don't want to speak against it?
Don't want to speak against it now.
I'm happy to second it. We'll keep it as it is.
Councillor Young solved my problem.
Fantastic. Would you like to
that's fine.
towards it? Anyone like to speak towards to it? If not, we'll put the motion to you. All in favour? Carry. Thank you.
And Chairman, I just have one other question, if I might, in general business, as a result of the Robina report, which indicated that 70% of local businesses were used in the development of Stage 1. Is it this committee or would it be governance that I would seek to have an overall understanding of the percentage of Gold Coast businesses being awarded contracts at this point in time?
I can take that one on notice. I don't think it would come through TIC. It's probably through the governance committee.
Probably.
So if you're happy with that, I'm getting nodding from Alex coming through, so I'd say it's...
just be something I'm interested in. I mean, several years ago we gave an increased percentage to local businesses in the awarding of contracts for various reasons. I don't know if the Gold Coast Business Excellence Award winners are still given a bonus, but they were at one stage. But I'd just be interested to see how that's tracked in the last 12 months. So
Michael, can you take that on notice and provide it? And then obviously if we don't get the answer you want, we can always bring it back to governance.
Thanks so much. I'm sorry to raise it in the wrong committee.
No, no problem. Do we have any other general business? Thank you. Well, we'll close the meeting at 13:36. Thank you.